Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Stones Hill Homestead. If you're new here, I am Kim, and today I am just getting off work. As many of you know, I do work third shift in a sleep disorder center, and I need to have dinner ready when I wake up for the day. And so I am making a corn stew. And I know it's not corn at all. Corn stands for Clean Out Refrigerator Night Stew. And this is actually going to be a beef stew that we are making. So I am taking my crock pot here, and there's a few things we're going to be adding in this. I'm using some ribeye that is too thin to cook on the grill. It cooks too fast, and I just don't want it to be on the grill. So I'm adding leftover potatoes and carrots and diced chopped onions left over from my Monday meal, and I want to use those up in this stew. The next thing I'm going to be adding here is a pint of green beans. It is always hard for me to figure out what to use green beans for, and I canned an overabundance of them from the garden season, and I just need to work through these, and there is a lot of them. I definitely canned too many for the year. So I'm using 1 pint here. Everything you see here either came from my garden, I've canned, preserved, or froze, and making this beef stew today. The next thing I'm going to add is 1 pint jar of rutabaga. This is the first year we've ever planted rutabaga, and it is also the first year I've ever canned it. And we have really enjoyed this new vegetable. I like it raw as well as roasted as well as canned. When you can rutabaga, it does get a little bit stronger. Now, this quart of French onion soup was in my freezer, and I'm going to use that up in this pot of corn night beef stew. And I had made it. I had extra. I didn't want it to waste, so I froze it, and this is going to be perfect. It's going to make a nice, flavorful, hearty stew. Now, there is a little bit of beef bits in the bottom of that container, and that's just going to add more flavor. And here you see the ribeye that I've cut up here, and now we're going to sear that ribeye so it helps hold that meat in pieces. This ribeye is so tender. We just really love the flavor of it, and we love the texture of it. It's just too thin for the grill. We like a rare or medium rare steak, and it just doesn't work well on the grill, but it works great for fajitas. It works great for soups and stews like this. It works great for beef and noodles. So it never goes to waste, but I do enjoy it for tonight's meal. I added some salt and pepper as I'm searing this beef, and I'm getting that all browned up, and we will add that into the crock pot for its final cooking. This will cook all day on high for about 4 to 6 hours while I'm sleeping. When I get up, the meal will be ready. I'm also making a loaf of bread to go with this. So we are back at the crock pot, and you see I am adding the ribeye as well as I did mix in that rutabaga with this meat just to give that rutabaga some additional flavor. Once I get all that added in, I end up with 2 potatoes and a couple small carrots that I end up dicing up and adding to this to fill this crock pot up. It is going to be for the weekend, for today, for tonight's supper, and then leftovers for Friday and Saturday. And that will be more than enough for the weekend. Actually, I'll end up having to probably cook on Saturday again for the main meal, but this will be a great lunch item for us. The fresh bread is a bread recipe that I use. I do end up putting it in the bread maker just on the dough function. And here you see me adding the leftover carrots and potatoes that were in the fridge, those 2 potatoes. An additional item I am adding here so that I have some good flavorful broth is a quart of V8 juice. This is my home canned V8 juice. It's actually a Bloody Mary mix recipe, but we call it V8 because we absolutely love the flavor of it. And as you can see, this is going to be a very thick, hearty stew. The other thing you could do with this is thicken this stew and make a beef pot pie. It would also work great for that. But tonight, like I said, it'll be in soup form with a nice piece of homemade bread. Once I get this all stirred up and mixed together, I add some additional salt and pepper because I hadn't added much. Potatoes tend to keep that away. And here I am adding some cowboy candy. I don't add a lot, maybe about 5 or 6 pieces, as you will see. And that gives this recipe a nice little kick. And we just absolutely love it. There is a sweet taste to the cowboy candy, but because it's so little for the crock pot, you won't ever taste the sweet of anything in it. The next thing I'm adding is Who's Your Sister sauce. I don't know that I have ever been able to say it correctly, so it has just developed into Who's Your Sister sauce. I've heard some people call W sauce. It all is a great flavor for this. This is going to cook now. I'm doing one more mix. We're going to put this on the lid on this, and we're going to let it cook while I sleep. And here is the end of day 4. This beef stew is so delicious. That homemade bread here, I just pulled out of the oven. It is ready to go, and we are going to have a nice, hearty, warm, comfort meal tonight, and looking forward to tomorrow. So thanks everyone for joining. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for all the new subscribers. You have no idea how much that means to us, that you are finding value in our videos. And I have a little short clip of one of our fur babies at the end of the video. As always, be blessed and laugh as much as you breathe. Have a great day, everyone.